Yes, welcome back guys. It is day 2 and if it is possible, I am even more excited today than I was yesterday. I've been back in Spain now 24 hours. I've had a full 8 hours sleep. I had a little bit of stomach bug yesterday, that has cleared. I've just come back from a full leg session at Rail Paddle Club, which is the gym I train at here in Marbella, and I'm feeling insanely amazing. However, bit awkward, but I have lied to you. I have lied to you because today I promised I was going to talk about New Year's resolutions. However, watching yesterday's episode back made me hate myself and my life, to be honest. And I realized that there was something before I spoke about New Year's resolutions that is more pertinent and more important and fits very nicely in. So yesterday we spoke about getting out of your own way. Today we're going to talk about the process of sucking. Before I get into that note, if you don't know me, if this is the first time you have ever seen my face or heard my voice, my name is Doug. I'm an online fitness coach and I specialize in helping career-focused guys who've lost their edge to double their energy and optimize their health using a system that I have developed over the last 5 years. We've helped hundreds of guys, but this is not a sales pitch. So that's what I do. That's my context. If the first time I've slid into your algorithm, now you know who I am. So just to recap on yesterday was day 1. I just got off the plane. I was over caffeinated, underslept, felt pretty 3 out of 10 if I'm honest with you. But I was like, Doug, you've committed to doing this. You've said you're going to start on the 2nd. You've just got to get it done. And I got it done. It wasn't terrible. I'm exaggerating. I thought it was okay, considering it was my first piece of long form content, completely unscripted. But there was a lot of stuff that I didn't like. I felt like the camera angle was too wide lensed. You can see we've changed the setup today. I think this is hopefully going to come across and look a lot better and sound a lot better as well. I felt like I was looking at the laptop. I was doing this a lot. There's plenty of things that I could criticize myself on. And you can see that in one of 2 ways, right? The old me, the perfectionist in me, the OCD in me would have been like, well, that's not a 10 out of 10. That's not as good as the YouTubers you watch every day or every week, Doug. So obviously you're not going to put that out there. Delete it, and we're going to go back and we're going to rebuild everything and script everything, and it's going to be so much better. And it's like, no, that was the old me. And the new me is very much all about embracing the process of sucking. And I think it's important to talk about today because for me, I'm sucking at YouTube right now. For you, you might be sucking at getting in the gym or sucking with your diet or sucking with your job or your relationships or whatever it might be. But everybody sucks at everything when they first start something. That's the message. That's the message today. And when you start something new, take the YouTube as an example, right? I immediately compare myself to the guys and girls that I watch every week. These guys have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of subscribers. And more importantly than that, not about the audience size, they've been doing this for years. They have produced multiple hundreds of videos over a 5 to 10 year period. It is not reasonable for me to jump on a camera and expect that I'm going to be as succinct and punctual and say good stuff and look as good as them after one video. I know that sounds very logical, but you'd be amazed how many people, including myself, will have just deleted that first video. But I'm going to keep it up there. I want to keep it up there on the road to the milli. We're keeping that there because every one of these guys also say regularly, go back to my first video and look how crap it was. And now I get it. Now I understand why they do that. They want to keep it there. It's like postonymous or whatever that word is. That's the point. Again, I should have said, if you don't know, we're on a mission, guys. We are on a mission. So I committed at the end of last year that I'm going to post a long form piece of content onto YouTube and record it as a podcast. So if you're listening, shout out to you on Apple and Spotify for 100 days from the 2nd of January, because I was flying until whenever 100 days is. I guess it's like the first week of April or something like that. And I'm not going to commit to it beyond that. We're going to see how we go. But I feel like if I do that for 100 days, A, I'm going to get much better at it. B, hopefully people are going to get some value out of it. And C, we're going to break the algorithm, guys. Like that. And then genuinely the goal is not the vanity metrics, it's not the likes, it's not the subscribers, it's nothing to do with that. It's just, I wanted to do something that I knew I was gonna suck at and was gonna test me and push me, and is a skill that is invaluable. I feel like one of the top 3 skills in the next 5 years, which everybody needs to embrace, or shouldn't, or want to embrace, is building a personal brand. Now, whatever platform you choose to do that on, or whatever medium, whether you choose to do that on video or voice or what are the other ones, written, it doesn't really matter. But if you're not already, and I don't really count taking selfies in that, talking more to the females there, but power to you. I'm not saying stop, I'm just saying I don't really count that. So that's who I am, that's what we're doing. And the subject of today, like I said, is to get over or embrace the process of sucking. That's the most important thing, guys, because I looked at yesterday's and I thought, this is terrible. I was like, I cannot put this up there. I can't be happy with this. But I did, and I kept it there and I published it. It was also way too long. This one is going to be much shorter. That's why I was just looking over there, by the way. And I realized that just to help me out, by the way, just to give you some context, the reason why it took me so long to figure out is because the timer is in seconds and my brain, whilst talking to you, was trying to convert seconds into minutes. Harder than you think, but I think we're about 4.5. So it was like 18 minutes. Obviously, I felt like I had to justify everything. But I was just justifying it to myself. You don't care, and that's fine. I don't expect you to care. So from here on out, the videos are going to be 7 to 10 minutes. Let's aim for that, okay? And we're just going to chat. We're just going to have a chat. Whenever I do these as well, I try and imagine that I'm actually having a conversation with a specific person. I find it helps me a lot more than just staring at a camera in an empty room with no one else. And because your brain, which is millions of years old, if you're doing that and you're not speaking to a specific person, it jumbles up your words and you start to genuinely feel like you're going insane because you're talking to an inanimate object. So if I am picturing a specific person, just imagine they're in front of me and the lens is their eyes, their face, I can have that conversation with them and I forget about the millions and millions of people who are watching. So yeah, guys, like the message is super simple today. It's just to embrace that process. Whatever you're starting, please don't expect that you're going to be good at it or you're going to get successful from it when you first start it. I could give you so many analogies here. You know, the one that really springs to mind to me was when I first launched a business. So I'd spent my 20s working in the corporate world, and I was just coming up to 30, and I had like that sort of quarter life crisis. I say quarter life implies I'm going to live to 120, which would be nice. We'll see. But let's call it a quarter life crisis. Had that quarter life crisis, and the most alarming thing for me was like, holy crap, if I'm going to be continuing down this path and, you know, up through middle management, senior management, getting to that sort of holy grail 100K a year or whatever it is, get the mortgage, get the wife, get the dog, the wife, you know, what you're supposed to do, basically, what society tells you is normal and what is healthy and what you should do. By the way, I'm not knocking that if you've done that or you are in the process of doing that, each to their own. I could have done that, but it really sent a shockwave of fear through me. I was like, whoa, I don't want to do that. Because it made me realize that I was going to be doing something that, yeah, I was good at, but I was going to be doing something that I didn't like, I didn't really enjoy, that sort of 9-to-5 grind, answering to someone else, you know, doing work that, let's be honest, I mean, I think we can all agree 80% of meetings are pointless. And I would say at least 50% of the work we all do when you're working in a sort of corporate 9-to-5 is pointless. When I mean work, I mean the back and forth emails or what's it now, Slack messages and all this sort of stuff. You know, if you cut through the BS, I think there's a stat I saw last week that said that the average office worker does effectively 3 hours of focused work a day, but is there for 8, maybe 10, maybe 12 if they've got a particularly toxic workplace culture and they feel like they have to impress someone or do something, go above and beyond and all that sort of, you know, this corporate jargon sort of stuff. So I had to get out of that. And I started my first business with my business partner at the time. He was called, he's still alive. He's all good. called Harry. We started a business called Kaiser Movement. It was a community fitness project, and I won't get into the details of it, but it was funny. We spent so much time for 3 months. We wanted to launch something and we wanted it to be perfect. And it's funny because I don't think he'll mind me saying this. I think he's told pretty much everybody now. Harry's very ADHD and I'm very OCD. Well, funnily enough, I've actually recently discovered that I am also ADHD. I didn't know that was a thing. I think we're told we can be one or the other. I'm both. So, yeah. Anyway, and so we came at it from a different angle, and at our best, we worked incredibly well together. We were able to channel it well. Harry was very ideas, and I was very execution. And if you combine that and you get it working well, you've got a nuclear bomb on your hands in a business. Our struggle and our challenge was, I suppose it's arrogance that you just expect, we've launched something, so obviously everybody's going to be interested, everybody's going to want to get involved, everybody's going to buy it, we're going to solve everybody's problems. And you try and do those things, anybody who's a fledgling entrepreneur or small business owner will know that if you're not trying to solve a specific problem for a specific person with a specific outcome, you're probably not going to get very far. As much as your best interests are to help as many people as possible, because no one gets into business. I genuinely don't believe, particularly if you're running a service-based business, people's initial intention is to make money. Because it doesn't come quickly. The money you have to be seeing that as a byproduct. And there's an entire millions, I guess, of creators on YouTube now who are creating content around self-development, entrepreneurship, all this stuff. And I love a lot of it. And actually the best ones will always tell you that the money is the byproduct. Do not expect to make money fast. But we sucked. That was the point. And I really struggled with sucking. I think in reflection, Harry actually dealt with it much better than I did. I sucked at sucking. I found it really, really challenging. And it was because of my OCD perfectionist nature. And we're told again that you shouldn't be a perfectionist, or if you're OCD or ADHD, it's bad and you've got a problem or a mental health issue or a disease or whatever it might be. Well, it's a disorder, right? Obsessive compulsive disorder. Yeah, they're both disorders, right? Come on, really? Are you going to label basically everybody with a disorder? Or is the fact that everybody's got a disorder normal? And actually, it's funny because if you look at the traits of the successful people, most of them, when you listen to them on podcasts or wherever you watch or listen to these guys or read about, they will say, when I was a kid, I was X. Dyslexic, couldn't focus, kicked out of class, perfectionist, didn't have any friends, whatever it might be. Very rarely are these guys rolling in and saying, yep, I was the captain of the football team and I got all the girls or the guys and I was the best looking. And very, very rarely do the guys who start at the top end up at the top. It more tends to be there's an ascension ladder. Not necessarily from the bottom, not necessarily from poverty. A lot of these guys do come from that, and I think it's because they've got that inbuilt survival instinct, and I respect that. I didn't come from that. I came from a very privileged middle class background. My parents worked insanely hard for my upbringing. But I found it really difficult to suck at this, and it was because of that. But if you're able to channel that ADHD, that OCD, it's a superpower. And what you have to be able to do, when you're ADHD, it's all ideas, you can't focus. When it's OCD, it's nitpicking at little things. So I'm still guilty of it today. You'll just tweak your website and change something and you'll think, well, this is gonna make all the difference. It doesn't make any difference in reality, but you convince yourself that you're busy and that it's gonna be amazing. If you can channel whatever it may be, and you can embrace the fact that the first thing you put out to the public, like my first video yesterday, is probably going to suck, and just keep going and keep executing, that's where you're onto the money. So guys, the point of today, what are we on? Yeah, we're coming up for about 7-8 minutes, I think, if my maths is right. The point of today, embrace the process of sucking, combine your superpower, whatever it may be, because I guarantee you, every single one of you is going to identify as more ADHD or more OCD, perfectionist, whatever it may be. Channel it and execute. You hear some business people talking to you about minimum viable product. This idea that if you've got a business idea and you want to test it, don't spend weeks, months, years developing it and tweaking it in your mind or on paper or wherever it may be. Get it down, test it with a small group of people and just see what the reaction's like, because you're going to learn a lot more from that. And it's the same if, you know, you want to start a new career. Like if someone came to me and said, you know what, I'm really thinking about changing from marketing to business development. The first thing I'm going to say to you is, okay, cool. Well, what are you doing about it? Are you applying for jobs? Are you looking for mentors? Are you looking at YouTube channels to see who can help you understand it better? You know, like, because you might spend years in your own head thinking this is the life you want to live. And then you finally get round to doing it, you're motivated and you have the time and you do it. And then you realize 3 months in, you never wanted to, it wasn't what you thought it would be. Combine your superpower, embrace the fact that you're going to suck, laugh in the face of it, just laugh at yourself. If other people laugh at you, great. Guess what? You're the ones laughing first. Laugh at yourself and fucking execute. Boom. That's the message for today, guys. Thank you very much. I love you if you've watched or listened throughout the whole of this. As always, please subscribe to this channel. Please tell all of your friends, like if you've liked this and you don't tell at least 100 of your friends, then do you really like me? Did you really like this? I'd argue you probably didn't, right? It's just a dick move. The first 100 founding subscribers, I'm calling them founding subscribers, and I see them all, by the way. I get an email, boop, 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 popping in saying this person has subscribed. Everybody's getting Lambos, Rollies, and helicopters when we get to the million. All right, guys. Love you lots, and I'll see you tomorrow. New Year's resolutions, I promise.